Scott again. Out hiking today. Sorry about the camera shake. I'll try to get control of that. Yeah, I'm somewhere maybe 7,500 feet up. Just climbed a big hilltop, and just wanted to stop, take a rest, and share some thoughts with you. So I don't know, some of you have probably read my story or heard me tell it before. I was a 10-year Army veteran, active duty. I was a Korean linguist, signals intelligence, voice interceptor. And you know, back when I was a young man, 26 years old, when I joined the military, I really believed in what I was doing at that time. And my marriage didn't survive the Army, and after 10 years, I decided it was time to get out. It was really hard on my kids, the lifestyle. I spent more than 6 years of my 10 years in the military deployed away from home for as long as 13 months at a time. And like I said, I was a dedicated soldier. I believed in what I was doing. When I got out, I got a job as a defense contractor. And after about 3 years of that, was asked to become a civil servant, employed by the Army again. And so, yeah, I took that position, and a few years later, I got married for a second time. And my marriage that time only lasted about 3 years. And I would say up until that point in my life, I lived quite unconsciously. Frequent bouts with sickness, stress, lots of it, lots of role playing, and just inauthentic living. And to me, it was normal. And I believe most people live that way, actually. And after my second divorce, I was literally crushed. I was very, very broken, very unhealthy person. And it began for me a process of discovery. Sorry, I'm trying to get the camera here so you don't get some glare off the sun. Yeah, so that first 10 months after my divorce was very, very hard for me. I can't even begin to describe the angst and the hurt and the desperation and despair. And literally I was suicidal at times. Never made an attempt to take my life, but felt very, very close for much of that period of time. You know, and up until that time in my life, I'd never been a person who read books, ever. If I read anything, it was how-to books. I'm very much a left-brain person, and I learned well from books. Well, I was on a business trip out to Charleston, South Carolina, and I was sitting in the airport in a little restaurant. Across from the restaurant was a bookstore. And I was literally sitting there trying to hide the fact that I was sobbing from the rest of the patrons in the restaurant. Just totally engulfed in all this thought surrounding my divorce, and just a lot of self-pity, and I just was really struggling. And I told myself, all right, you need to get this off your mind. You need to get your mind on something else. Why don't you're going to go across and walk into that bookstore. You're not going to shop around. You're just going to walk to the first book that catches your eye. You're going to take it to the counter and you're going to buy it. And you're going to read that book all the way on the flight home. It's a pretty long flight from Charleston to Tucson. So I got up and kind of wiped the tears from my eyes, and I walked across to that bookstore. I walked straight to a corner shelf and I grabbed a book. I went and paid for it, and I sat on the plane and I opened that book, and I didn't put that book down for another 18 months. I literally read it every single day. The title of that book was The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And that book spoke to me at a time when I desperately needed it. it literally changed my life. It saved my life at that time. And it wasn't long after that that those months and months and months of despair and desperation turned to joy as a result of coming to understand the truth of who we are. And I share that with you today because it's a big part of, well, it's the biggest part of how I live my life today and what my business is about, the people I try to connect with, and the people that I think come into my life as a result of law of attraction. And I want to follow this thread in my next video. I'm not going to do it here in this one, but I want to build upon this because I want to share with you how at that very critical turning point in my life, a lot of things began to change that really have served to put me in the place that I am today. So guys, I hope you can relate in some way to this video, that it helps you in some way. Until next time, this is Scott signing off. I'm going to finish my hike now. Take care.